and the Riley interviews. Today I'm delighted to have the amazing Sinitta with us. Hello, Sinitta.
How you doing?
Doing
Happy
good.
Pride, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much for playing Diva Pie today. I've had loads of questions come in for you. I'm going to start with the ally question that I've been asked. You've always
Look at that picture of Denise looking amazing. I love that poster.
Yes, she's a great ally too.
Yeah.
I interviewed her a couple of weeks ago. I've been waiting to interview you for a very long time, Sinitta, so I'm very delighted to be interviewing you today.
It's very funny, wifey. Let's do this.
For those of you who don't know, Sinitta and I were out a couple of times and the press tried to pick up on the fact that we were going out together, which I was very happy about, but obviously...
Yeah. And I just got outed and partnered all at the same time, which was kind of cool.
You've always been a great ally. When do you think that actually started with you?
Do you know, I don't think I ever wasn't, because I kind of grew up, my mother's in show business, so I kind of grew up having gay and lesbian friends all my life. And so it was always just a part of, you know, part of the greater community of our greater community of friends and aunties and uncles and all of that. So it was more, it was only until I got older, a lot older, that I kind of realized that it was different and that certain people had a problem with it.
Yeah, no, I know you did. First of all, it was quite a gay hit, So Macho, the single, many years ago.
Yeah. It was written about you, Linda.
Thank you very much. I tell everybody that every time I hear it playing. They won't believe it, but now I have it in your very own words. Have you seen the gay scene change a lot since you made that single? Has it been? Do you see it's easier for LGBTQ people now?
I think it does seem easier in that it seems more mainstream, but because I think in my industry, the majority of like the bosses and television and, you know, everyone, it was almost, you know, straight people were more in the minority. So now I think I notice it more in mainstream. Also things like, you know, allies, you know, we've done some of these panels where we've met people in banks, some of your friends in banks and different job environments, the fact that they'll have a sort of allies group for LGBT community, things like that didn't exist in those days. You know, you were just, you were very much sort of on your own and you found your tribe of friends and you got on with it, but it wasn't, that people didn't sort of cater so much towards insisting on or improving inclusion and things like that.
Yeah, no, I saw you also as a judge on X Factor for a few years. Now, I know many people that have said to me in the past when X Factor first started up that they were advised it would be best if they didn't come out as gay and stuff like that. But I've seen people like Lucy Sprague and Sarah Auto all coming out. Do you think that got easier as the years went by for them to be able to say they were gay openly like this?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think it's like an old Hollywood stigma as well, this whole thing about, you know, you'll lose fans. But really that stemmed from, for teenage boys thinking, oh, the young teenage girls who are screaming and shouting for them, that they'll all be put off and won't like you anymore. But I mean, if you look at people like George Michael, if anything, they kind of increased in popularity. Just meant that we couldn't have them, but actually, no, nor could anyone else. It was kind of a good thing because you weren't going to have to be jealous of some other woman having them.
Yeah, no, I was actually talking to Sam Fox the other day on my interviews, who said that she was worried, obviously, but she gained a lot of followers. She kept all her fan base. But have you ever had any negative comments, you know, trolls for being too supportive of the LGBTQ community?
Do you know what's really funny? Recently, because of the Black Lives Matter issues, and I've, you know, sort of spoken out and obviously got involved, you know, hello, I am Black. I've had a lot of criticism of people sort of saying, oh, well, you know, it's all right now you trying to jump on the Black bandwagon, when the only thing you seem to really care about is LGBTQ plus rights. Almost as if to say, I can't stick up for Black people now because I've stuck up for the LGBT, you know, like you've got to choose one and stick to it. But I have had a bit of criticism from churches, obviously not my particular church, Hillsong, but you know, I'm a minister in church. So there's a few very religious people who find that challenging because they're sort of living in the Old Testament in the Dark Ages, where I do think it says somewhere that same-sex relationships are a sin, alongside lying, alongside sex outside of marriage, alongside jealousy, coveting anything someone else has, and you know, a number of other things. And so you sort of think, well, those things are old laws that even the Bible itself actually says is obsolete, and that there's a New Testament and everyone's included and everyone's invited, and no one has to keep this holier than thou standard to be close to God. But some people who are very religious but not at all spiritual are still trying to stand on those things. And I'm sorry to say it, as religious and holy as they think they are, they're just hypocrites, because there's no such thing as a person who's never sinned. So how can you judge somebody else for whatever you consider their sin to be? So I have a lot of juicy conversations like that. And, you know, at best, I kind of think, oh, well, at least it's an opportunity to tell people the truth. And at worst, I just find it frustrating and annoying because, you know, it's just hypocritical. So yeah, those are the things. I'm accused for not being really Black because I'm not known for supporting Black issues, and yet I think I do, and that I am, and for bringing the LGBTQ plus community into church.
Yeah, no, there'll be a lot of LGBTQ Christians watching this, actually. You'll be so pleased to hear you saying this, because often they feel really rejected by religion, you know, so those are really refreshing.
Yeah, horrible. It actually defeats the whole point of Christianity and spirituality, which is all love thy neighbor as yourself and everything. So it's like, how can you call yourself a Christian and then discriminate against anyone? Doesn't make sense.
Exactly. So
yeah.
Now, I was going to ask you, we're obviously coming to the end of lockdown, Touchwood. What have you found? Have you found anything that's really touched you during these unprecedented times, Sinitta?
So many things. I think one of the nicest things is that social media, which can be regarded as a bit of an enemy or a negative thing, it was really great to see that really come into its own, and you could start to see how it's really useful and how important it is. And it was lifeline, because you know, I was in lockdown alone, and because I had the COVID like you, I had it quite early on, so my children couldn't be with me. So I'm seeing my daughter now, Magdalena, for the first time since just before lockdown. And you know, without social media, we just would have been lost. I think there would be a lot of mental health issues. My mother, you know, she's not elderly and poorly, but she's still an older woman, so she was completely isolated as well. And without that, we would have been lost. So I've loved to see the good side of social media. Also, just how everyone really did rally around the Black Lives Matter. I thought that was really, really moving. I know the National Health Service, that was moving as well. But I think there are some things that you kind of choose your battles. But to see how many young Caucasian people got behind that and were really hurt and outraged by the things that was being shared over social media. And again, it was things that we wouldn't have known about if people weren't holding their cameras up and filming these incidents and then posting it. And to see that sort of global reaction was so special, because, you know, we have become, you know, there is this systemic racism, and, you know, and even I'm part of it. You were raised as part of that society, and you're raised to kind of feel that you're lucky to even be included, and all those sorts of things. So to see people who didn't need to step out and actually go, this is not right? When actually it's been the law, and it's been the way the world is all my life, all of my mother's life, all of my grandparents' life. You know, that's the normal world. So that was really, really touching, and you know, made me look at a lot of things differently as well. I do think the world's changing, Linda. I think lockdown gave people an opportunity to think about how they really feel, as opposed to just feeding off what we're fed.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously protests, you know, for years on Black Lives Matters, people were calling them riots, etc. But this is the first time, as you say, that white allies have really been actively involved
Yeah.
in the fight for equality, which has been.
And we don't have a black leader. It's the first time things have been so huge without you know, we don't have a Farrakhan or Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. You know, this is just people doing it themselves, and I think that's amazing, because it shows the power of just, you know, the greater community, and that's been great. I think COVID, even though it sounds weird, I think that's helped in a way, because the pandemic didn't discriminate. It was like you could be a prime minister, black, white, old, young, everyone was affected, everyone was vulnerable, and it made us kind of bond, like humanity bond, you know. And it was great, because we do have Trans Lives Matters, and we have so many segregated groups fighting for themselves, but it's like we all got together and are all standing together for each other for the first time, and I love that.
Yeah, unity is definitely the way forward in the battle for full equality. I strongly believe that too.
Yeah.
Have you been recording? Got a chance to record any music or albums or do any?
Yeah, I've been recording some new stuff and making some new formats, and also working with some amazing young talent still. Great, thankfully we were still able to do that online. So we're going to do a performance for you, not today, but we're working on something where I get to sing. I'm going to sing Paradise to you, but also showcase some of the young talent that I've been working with as well. See what you think.
Yeah, can't wait for that. Obviously, we've worked very hard on Diva Pride, and we're delighted that you can join us. You've been on Diva stage, I think, the Diva Women's stage at Pride in London for the last 3 years. So we're trying to recreate that with Diva Pride. So thanks again.
Amazing.
Is so fantastic. Quick little note that I want to say for the people watching is that an interesting fact about you, Sinitta, which I don't think many people know, is that your mum is actually a 3 degree, one of the 3 degrees.
Yeah.
Want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So first of all, she did have or does have a solo career as well, Michael Brown, MIQUEL. So she sang So Many Men, Too Little Time, and had a lot of high energy hits in the mid-80s, same time as me. But she was also one of the 3 degrees with Sheila Ferguson. I found a really old picture, or someone found a picture and sent it to me recently. When I first saw it, I thought it was me. I was like, I don't remember. What is this? Is this a show, a photo or something? But yeah, she's one of the 3 degrees as well.
I think that's
Were you a fan?
I was actually, yes, I was, and but I just think that it's you know, such a little known fact about you, you know, and I just think that's such an interesting story, you know, of
yeah.
talent. I mean,
you know my mom, and you know Amy Stewart's my auntie as well, right? Knock on wood.
I didn't
Did you know that?
I didn't know that. So yeah, another very little known fact.
Oh, darling, I'm music dynasty, darling.
That's taught me something new today. Wow, I'm going to go off and listen to that. That's one of my all-time favourites. I'm really showing my age here, but yep, love it. So thank you very much. Do you have any message for the viewers today watching? About to go into Diva Pride?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I think just I think we've learned so much during this time. I mean, there's parts of me that's not ready to come out of lockdown, because I've really learned so much, and I've kind of valued this time and loved ones and all of that. So it's just really to hang on to the good things, and not to lose ourselves completely in the madness and the chaos that's out there for us, and to just hold on to that good stuff. And I can't wait to see everybody live someplace soon, probably at your place or one of your events. You know, just all back together again, healthy and well.
Thank you very much, Sinitta, and thank you for being such a great ally to our community. We really appreciate all that you do for us.
Thank you. So cool. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.